Hey guys, it's Mike from Mikey Balls Fishing. D&M has a new hot jig on the market, and it is pretty sweet, and I'm pretty excited about it. It's one of those cool new products for 2013, and it's called the Mat Rat. Basically, it's a punching style jig, but don't let the punching title kind of overwhelm you as into the techniques that it can be used for. When I say it's a punching style jig, basically all I'm indicating, it has a double brush guard on the hook, which makes it super weedless. You're not going to get snagged on just about anything. It also has a forward pointed eye for the line tie. It's just a little more vertical, and what it does, it allows that bait to penetrate a lot better through cover. A lot of jigs will have kind of a 45-degree line tie or something at a slight angle, and that tends to make the jig kind of flutter a little bit more. Whereas this guy, she's straight pointed and she will go straight down into that cover and penetrate through it. The other thing is the hook. This is one beefy hook. It's a big gummy hook, and I'm pretty stringent about my hook evaluation. This thing is not going to roll and it's not going to bend. It is thick gauge, and it's perfectly set up for the kind of cover you're going to be fishing with this jig. There's three real big techniques that I like to take this jig out to, and one of them is punching. The jig is made up to a 2-ounce jig, which will get you through matted floating cover, it'll get you through matted hydrilla, and what's really cool with the jig is it's a different presentation for those kinds of applications. Those fish under those mats don't usually see a jig punching on through. Usually they're seeing tungsten and some kind of little beaver bait or something along those lines, so it's a great alternative presentation. The other thing that I love a punching style jig for is flipping cane or toolies when the brim or the bluegills are bedding out, and it's a great way to target them. The problem is a lot of jigs are too flimsy when it comes to the hook, or the brush guards don't seem to kind of keep them weedless enough to keep you from getting snagged in that heavy cane and that thick cane. This jig wipes all that away. The double brush guard and the heavy hook, you're not going to have a problem getting a fish out, and you're not going to get hung up over and over and over and again, wrecking your flow when you're going through those reed heads and those toolies. The other application, and this is something that probably a lot of you guys have noticed over the past few years, has been flipping for bedfish. And I'm not really talking about sight fish. The jig comes in a 3/4 to a 2-ounce weight, so it's a little heavy to kind of get those real finicky, weird bedfish to go. But what I'm talking about is blind flipping for beds. It's a real cool technique. It takes a little bit of faith, and you got to know when they're bedding out. But basically, you target areas in the grass or in the wood where you think the fish would bed, but the water might not be clean enough to see them, or even you're staying far enough back because they're spooky fish where you can't look at them before you pitch to them. And that's a great method to use with these jigs. There's something magical about a jig when it comes to those bedfish where they absolutely hate it. It's craziness, but I've seen it work on the water in front of my eyes, and they will annihilate a jig when they're on a bed. But these are some great techniques, and this is a great bait to sort of employ some of those techniques and employ some of those applications. One other quick note, my two favorite trailers on this jig. One is more of an early season kind of a trailer. It's actually just kind of like a chunk. You can see it right here. Just slides onto the hook, dangles really nice, has a real flow and a real loose free fall to it. It keeps the jig from being too bulky and too huge, and it just kind of a slimmed down presentation and real simple. Your plastic won't tear up too bad, and just it's kind of old school, but it works. There's a reason old school hangs around. My other favorite trailer on this jig, and this, it depends. Usually it's going to be when the brim are bedding, but I also like it from time to time when you're blind flipping fish on beds, and when you just want a bulkier trailer, when you have a big wave of bedfish and you're trying to strain out those bigger fish, and that's the flipping craw. You can go either for the giant or the one under the giant, the 4.5 inch. But this guy on this jig is a bulky presentation, and it moves beautifully. You can get it into some thick, heavy stuff, and those fish hate it, and that means we love it. But great setup, either going with the little chunk or the flipping craw, and you're going to get some big bites. And what's really cool is you're going to be able to put this jig into some places that you normally just can't put a jig. That double weed guard and that big hook is going to guarantee that you're going to get that bite out. Check them out though. The D&M Custom Baits Mat Rat. It's a new punching jig. A lot of different applications for it. Very cool little deal. I'm excited about it. I can't wait till we get some bedding fish down here so I can get into some trouble with it. And tell you what, when the brim start bedding, this thing is gonna be mean, son. Mean. D&M Custom Baits Mat Rat. Check it out, guys. Get you some, and get out the big sticks.